Living every day in your head for free. You can tap away, but I will not hear you scream. You can break the keys, spread your toxicity, your world outside reality. In your room, a little hideaway, but you let it through. Enough to go insane, living in the dark hasn't treated you well. You're building your own prison cell. Hate, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Did I brush you off? Is it your lack of friends? We never met, even if you pretend. Am I in your debt? I don't owe you nothing. Don't say something you'll regret. Hate, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Hate, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it. I'm telling you, don't waste it. Lies telling you, don't waste it on me.
And we are live for the for the midweek mix-up. Welcome one, welcome all to the two-man team that is WandrinDutch and Boxenberger once more for the midweek mix-up podcast. The world of midweek mix-up.
We sometimes somehow we have to change that name. Absolutely.
How are you doing anyway, brother? What you've been up to? What you've been playing?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Still a little busy at work. I told you that a couple of weeks ago. I have a hard deadline coming up, and well, not sure if we can make it. So been working like crazy. 12-hour days are the norm these days, but luckily I have gaming, man. Which, when all is said and done, I just can relax, immerse myself into a different world, get my mind off the nasty things at work, and yeah, man, I've been playing Baldur's Gate, like a lot.
Yeah.
I so love that game.
It is one of the topics today as well, so we're going to dive into what you love about that game, but also a few of the kind of nuances around that topic as well. But yeah, how are you enjoying it loosely before we jump into that properly?
It's fantastic, man. It is so well done. It is phenomenal. Yeah, but we will discuss that in depth. And I have also been playing at least a little bit of Diablo, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, still trying to finish up the season 1 story and campaign. It's such a fun game. Diablo is just so good, but I'm waiting still for the patch 1.1.1 to drop, to where we would get all these buffs again. Sorcerers should be increased again. I'm playing a necromancer though in season 1, and it feels very powerful. So I'm good with that, but I'm always torn. I don't know about you, but I'm always torn when I boot up Diablo 4. What do I start? Do I continue to work on my eternal character? Get that beast even more powerful, or do I jump into the seasonal character? So I'm always jumping around, but yeah, man, Diablo is just so good. I think it's at this point fair to say that so far this is my game of the year.
Yeah.
It's close to Hogwarts, but yeah, Baldur's Gate could be. I have no idea how far I am into that game. Like usually, you can tell how far you are along in a game, but I have absolutely no idea. Did I just scratch the surface? Did I already see a lot? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. But it is phenomenal. So yeah, man, that's what I've been playing. What have you been up to, man? How you doing?
Yeah. So I've been dabbling in some PS5 games after getting that set up. So of course, I've downloaded just a bunch of games that I like previously. I'd said I'm not going to touch until I get a PlayStation 5, primarily because like Horizon, etc. was just that there's so many issues and things with it.
Makes sense. So how are you enjoying your PS5 now? Now that you're one of the ponies,
Yeah, now we're pony force.
Brothers.
Yeah. It's all right. I'm still getting used to the UI. The UI's a lot different to the PlayStation. A few of the features and things like that on the UI are different in the way that you access them. Like previously, you'd have the kind of pop up on the left hand side where you could change all your party system and your all the storage stuff and everything like that. But now everything's on the bottom when you press the button once. So yeah, it's a bit different. It's a bit different on the UI. I don't know whether or not I like the UI or dislike the UI right now. I'm still debating.
I'm always torn with that too. Maybe it's just because I don't play as much on my PlayStation 5 than I do on my Xbox. There are some things I really do enjoy and like. I don't know, if, for instance, having proper background music. I do like that. Honestly, it makes it like a calming experience, navigating the menus and whatnot. I find some of the things, especially in the settings, very weirdly placed.
Yeah.
Like I always have to look around where to turn off HDR, when you want to record something. Stuff like that is so weird. I find it super annoying how they manage the game library thing.
Yes. What happened? I mean, is it just me, or have they got rid of the ability to put folders on your dash?
Yeah, they got rid of that.
Why?
For whatever reason. There was actually a great feature that they had on PS4.
Yeah. I used to have, especially on the PlayStation 4, I used to have PS5 exclusives or PlayStation exclusives in one folder. So all of my PlayStation specifics were there. And the other games would go into an additional folder. So I'd go PlayStation exclusives, third parties, and then I'd have something like media. So I'd have 3 nice set folders. Easily accessible.
Yeah. And the fact that they don't show you, when you are in your game library, they don't show you how much space you have
No,
left.
no, it's
on the
a right
SSD.
fuck on to figure out how much
Yeah,
space
you have to go to settings and then
Then down to
storage
storage.
management and blah blah blah. And it's stuff like that is annoying. On the other hand, some things feel really good.
Yeah.
Like navigating along the last used games is easy. I do like the fact when you press the PlayStation button, the little menu that pops up, that is really good. There are things I do like. I do like the look. I do like that it's in HDR, and when you go into a game, you don't have to do the handshake with the TV like you do on Xbox. There are things that are really good, but some things are just weird.
Yeah. Super
Have you
weird.
tried recording?
Not yet. There's a lot of things I still haven't tried to do, but that's because I've just been like,
You know-
let's get things installed. Which, by the way, is the slowest experience ever. Why are PlayStation? Why does it still take forever to install games on PlayStation?
I did not really notice that.
Because like when
speeds are similar.
Because when you asked
than
me,
to
you were like, "Have you had a
Xbox
chance to play anything yet?" I was like, "Nope, just still installing games."
Well, I can't really say that.
Yeah.
I think it's equally fast or slow,
Yeah.
depending on how you want to phrase it. But
In comparison, because I've got them all set up with the hardwire. So in comparison to the Series X versus the PlayStation 5, the installing of games and the downloading of games is far quicker on the Series X than it is on the PS5.
Can't say that. Honestly. Download speeds are very similar. What I do prefer on PlayStation, and I think Xbox should really copy paste that, is that when you have an update of a game, you don't have to install it.
Yeah.
You can download it whilst playing the game and then install it once it's downloaded.
Yeah.
I really do like that. So yeah, the thing about DVR though is like, you know how much DVR sucks on Xbox, but it is surprising that PlayStation found a way to make it even worse.
Yeah.
It's it is, you know, if you, at least on Xbox, when you play your game and you record something, it automatically records your game footage in SDR and 4K or 1080p or whatever you set it to.
Yeah.
And on PlayStation, you actually have to turn off HDR in the menu, so you have to play your game then in SDR in order to be able to record it. Otherwise, you have recorded it in HDR itself, which is unusable because they have this weird ass codec that no other renderer can use. So you have to do that, and it gets even worse. And I always forget that it is not enough to simply turn off HDR. They have this option, not really sure what it actually does.
Yeah.
It says like deep color adjustment or something, and you can turn that on. But when you have SDR on, I think it tries to fake some sort of HDR effects when you play on an SDR screen.
Right.
You have to turn that off as well, because if you don't, it's not enough to record in SDR. It will still use this weird codec if you have this deep color function on. So you have to turn those both up. They are in different menus. Yeah, this is like the next thing. It is like, seriously, it is baffling to me that they found a way to make DVR even worse than on Xbox. It's crazy.
Insane.
You can't record to an external drive.
Can you not?
You have to record. What you have to do is you record the footage. It saves it on the SSD, and then you can copy it to a USB port or a USB drive.
So
or
you've
whatever.
got to have the space
And
first.
now listen, and And this is how awful this DVR situation is on PlayStation. The copying of recorded footage is not using USB 2. So copy pasting like an hour footage, I don't know, 10 gigs of footage or so, takes you up to an hour on a USB stick. Like, I'm not even kidding, dude. This is a thing.
These are things I'm gonna find out to my detriment, because I refuse
will.
to heavy lift that juggernaut of a system to the streaming setup and set it up here. No chance. There's absolutely no chance
I
I'm
don't
heavy
think
lifting that thing.
your desk is big enough, dude.
Nope.
You have to get a bigger house with a bigger desk for that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is absolutely ginormous. And Amazon, in all of their glory, put it in the largest box I have ever witnessed for a console. I thought they were delivering a table and chair set.
Yeah, I know. It is.
It's like it was the size of this chair that I'm sitting on, the box. I was like, that is ridiculous. And the guy that was delivering it, he was like, fucking hell, that's a bit big, isn't it? He was like, what's in it like? I was like, a PlayStation? He was like, fucking hell.
Yeah, it is. During my everyday life, I got used to it. Like it's sitting right here underneath the TV, and it's cool. Whenever I take a picture of my setup and post it on Twitter, like every time I get a couple of comments like, "Oh, the PS5 is gigantic," and every time someone comments, I see it. It stands right next to my Xbox, and it is just gigantic.
I mean, you can look behind us. There's the tiny little Series S, and there's the fucking juggernaut that is the PS5. That looks like a thimble.
Yeah,
it is.
It's crazy.
Huge, and I literally felt like I could potentially drop it trying to take it out of its packaging. Like the size of it, I thought this is awkward, and I feel like I'm just gonna smash this thing somewhere.
Yep.
Aside from that, I don't know. The DualSense battery life is shit. Absolutely terrible. Like I had it full lit before I played anything. I just left it to install games. Had the controller plugged in to charge, and that's it. Just left it. Unplugged it to play some games. I must have played a maximum of about 3-4 hours, and it was already down to 1 bar. I was like, what the
Yeah. What can I say? I would say, depending on the game, 3 to 4 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Then you have to recharge.
I thought the PlayStation 4 was bad, but that's like next level.
It is next level, man. So, but enough of the slander. What do you like about it?
Their version of quick resume is quite cool. It's not like quite a quick resume, but more quick save state. So it just picks up where it left off, and that's quite cool. Games play well. It's silent. I no longer have to put headphones on to play my PlayStation games. Thank God. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's nice to be able to get on and play some of these games that I've intentionally put off because of the PlayStation 4.
So what are you playing then?
So what I have installed naturally, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Ghost of Tsushima, with the next gen update, Horizon Forbidden West with the next gen update. Also played a little bit of that Astrobot that you get with the console, which is a cool little platformer.
Absolutely.
I've also installed Returnal. I've installed Demon Souls.
Good stuff.
I've installed the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, which has been patched for PS5. I've got a few more. I can't remember which ones I've got installed now. I'm going to have to have a look. Yeah, but I've got a few. I've got about and God of War Ragnarok. I've installed again because you get new trophies with it, so I've got a reason to play that again.
Oh, you do? Yeah, different trophies for PS4 and 5?
PS5 and PS4, yeah. I only know
Nice.
this. I only know this because Pyro on Twitter has completed the game on both versions just for the trophies.
That's cool.
So I'll do that. But I've got a few that I can't fit into this standard SSD that I want to install afterwards to play. So like see what Gran Turismo 7 looks like on PS5, which I haven't installed straight away, which I've got in the
Sweet.
backlog. See what the Death Stranding looks like on PS5, using the controller and everything as well. There's a few that I haven't yet installed because of space constraints. But yeah, it's cool at least. I probably will end up having to pick up a larger SSD at some point, but there's no rush because I've got enough games on there installed to get through first before I do anything.
How many games do you plan to install on the PS5?
I usually just, for me, I usually just install only PlayStation exclusives on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So they're the only ones I ever have installed. I don't install third-party ones. I'll claim them and put them in the library for for the free games you get with Plus or whatever it is that are removed from the free catalog every now and again. So I've got a bunch of third-party stuff that I've just added to library. That you get free with PS Plus every month, a bit like the games with gold ones. But outside of those, I literally only install like the PlayStation exclusives. So, and there's not many, and I only install ones that I like. I don't install all of them, but I try to own as many of them as I can to have a good variance of PlayStation's library. So, on the PlayStation 4, I think I had 34 or something PlayStation exclusives installed, and at the minute I've got about 8 on the PlayStation 5, which is a good chunk. It's a good little number to start with, but I've got some big ones to get through. Horizon's one of them. I want to try and get through that. Ghost of Tsushima.
It's a really good game.
Yeah.
I don't get the hate against it. It is
my only hate for it,
fun game.
My only hate for it wasn't to do with the game itself. It was more to do with the game running on a PlayStation 4 Pro. Which is why I left it, and so now I've got it installed again. In terms of the DualSense features, though, Boxy, because I'm going to bring this up, I am still completely 50-50 on whether or not I would ever want those in an Xbox controller. I don't think I would, especially the trigger.
Why?
For the shooters, it's just an annoyance.
And it is a fair point. I'm not sure if I
for things like bow and arrow, like that, the bow and arrow type of thing, that's cool. You can kind of feel like the pullback on the bow and arrow, but for constant shooting in like shooters and then like guns jamming and like, or even just feeling the trigger bump every time you don't need that. Like, it's cool. It's cool as a gimmick, but I can imagine trying to play a shooter online, for instance, and having that rebound every 2 seconds would just put us off. I think I'd be absolutely terrible if I had that in play on a lot of these Xbox games. It would be cool for certain things, like maybe it's cool for Forza, where you can feel a little bit more of the ground and the kind of different terrain and things on the controller. And I still, so far, the best version of this has been that Astrobot, because when you're doing like the ice skating and stuff, it kind of feels it's weird, but it feels kind of like he's ice skating about, which is a cool little feature. Or the kind of the spring features and things on it. So certain things that feel cool, but then I think certain games I would never want it in there. So that's why I'm 50-50. There's certain things that are, that's cool, and that would be really cool for a single player experience. But Xbox being very much a multiplayer platform, where a lot of its games are multiplayer focused, whether it be Gears or Forza or Halo or Sea of Thieves or or even you're talking Diablo going forwards and Call of Duty's going forwards. A lot of these multiplayer centric games, that trigger moment, I think it would just be an annoyance more than anything else.
I get it for shooters. I'm really not sure if I actually have played a shooter on the PlayStation 5. Like, I use it also as my exclusive machine.
Yeah.
There have been 0 shooters, exclusive shooters.
I mean, Ratchet's probably the
Um,
easiest one to try and demonstrate what a shooter feels like on.
Well, Ratchet, yeah, I played that. I did like it in Ratchet. It had some cool mechanics, especially with some of the abilities. You know, when
Yeah.
you sling away, when you put the portals beam in there. I do like those features in
Yeah.
the PS5 controller. I get it that it's not for everyone, but I do, and especially considering the battery life.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. That's the trade-off that they've went for here. They've like, we'll put loads of features in it, but we'll not increase the battery.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, that is definitely something. But there are some real cool things. Like in Horizon, it was fantastic. I remember Miles Morales was a lot of fun with those functions. It is even God of War, honestly. Like when you throw your axe and you had to push, it was like when you load it up
Yeah, and
before
you
you
feel
throw
it.
it,
You
and
feel
you
it
have to
kind of.
like the last little millimeter, and you have to pull it down, and bam, it goes off. It feels good, man. It is. I do like it. Would I say Xbox needs to copy that? Probably not. But it's a nice addition to have, man.
Yeah. Like I said, that's why I'm 50-50 on it, because I think in certain areas it would work well, like single player experiences. Then you would enjoy it. But I think when it
Yeah.
comes to multiplayer experiences, it would be an annoyance.
Yeah, and competitive
Yeah.
gameplay. Yeah. I do agree there.
And then of course, on the flip side, then you've got the huge setback, which is battery life would just be terrible. Thankfully, with the Elite series, you've got like one of the biggest battery lives there, and it lasts like days without being recharged.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we and you can upgrade the battery in the PlayStation DualSense. You can easily.
Yeah.
But that's something that they should have done straight away. That and in fact, it's got a weaker battery than the PlayStation 4 DualShock, which I don't get why they've done that.
I don't know.
Overall, though, I like the controller. It is comfortable, far more comfortable than the DualShock. I like I say, I like the quietness. I like the responsiveness of the console, and the games that I've tried so far have been really cool. In terms of the features on those, because I've actually played all of the games I've installed. So there's nothing new there to add to it yet. So it's more just testing out the features and seeing what the next gen version of the games I've played looks like and plays like. So yeah, it's cool so far. I'm looking forward to playing something new on it though that I haven't played before. I was really weighing up whether or not to get FF16 just to see what it's about. Or wait and get.
You bought it?
No.
That's the one. I was this close to actually buy it.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to get something to play before Starfield. You know, I was like on this Diablo ride, and I'm still enjoying. I'm going to continue playing Diablo. Love it.
Yeah.
Not going to stop, but needed something else. And I was like, yeah, man, I want to play Final Fantasy 16. It looks cool. It looks fun. And everyone who's played it actually really likes it.
Yeah.
Like everyone who played it says like absolutely a game of the year contender. And I'm not talking, of course, about the PlayStation fanboys, the blind ones, but the gamers that I trust. And so I was this close to getting it, and then FOMO hit me with Baldur's Gate, and I was like, dude, don't do it. Don't do it, because it is such a massive game. You know, like Final Fantasy 16, you can finish that game 35 to 40 hours, which is already a massive game.
Yeah.
But
Baldur's Gate, you're talking hundreds of hours though.
But exactly. And then I was like, Boxy, you can't do it to yourself. You can't do this because you won't finish this game
Yeah.
before Starfield. And because we have to take away another week, we leave to Gamescom the week before Starfield comes out, so I'm not gonna be playing Baldur's Gate in that week.
Yep.
And I had like literally only 2 weeks to finish Baldur's Gate then. Then it's Gamescom weeks and then it's Starfield. But FOMO hit me hard, man. It hit me so hard. So yeah, Final Fantasy 16 will have to wait.
Yeah, see, for me, and we're going to get into Baldur's Gate anyway, but for me, Baldur's Gate is, I don't like the XCOM style turn-based games. I just...
Dude, you enjoyed Octopath Traveler, right?
Yeah, but that's not the same.
It is exactly the same.
It's not. It's not a turn-based. It's point
Shut
and
up!
click.
It is exactly the same thing.
It's not.
It's
like move
turn-based
over.
RPG.
It's not. It's move over here and then select an attack and then move over here and then it's his turn. So you move over here and then select. It's more like XCOM than it is Octopath.
It is exactly the same
Octopath is
thing.
Final Fantasy. They're not the same.
No,
thing.
it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's not Final Fantasy.
It is.
It is not.
It is.
Octopath.
It is because you've just got characters on either side and you select your attacks and they do those attacks. That's it.
Dude,
Baldur's Gate is not. Baldur's Gate is more like. No, Baldur's Gate is more like Lincoln Gears Tactics or XCOM.
Yes, I do get that comparison, but it's exactly like what Octopath is doing.
Octopath is more like a Final Fantasy, man.
No, man. You walk around, you engage in random encounters that you don't see
what
coming
I'm saying
on
is
the
the
map.
battles themselves aren't the same.
And
the battles
then
themselves.
the battles itself, it's turn-based. Go to character 1, choose your attack, go to character 2, choose your attack, then it's the enemy's turn.
Yeah, but you've got to position your characters as well during
battle.
But it's the positioning of characters during battle that takes up your turns. I do not like that.
Dude, just because you have to sometimes move around a little bit your characters
I don't like that.
in between the option.
I don't like that.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't like that. Quick shout out to Andrew Green here with a £5 super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, "Hey gents, my god, I love Baldur's Gate. Boxy, just get it on. Get it, man. You will love it." He has got that.
Man,
he was talking about Final Fantasy.
I have it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Final Fantasy. That's exactly the thing. That's what I'm holding off on now. Because with Baldur's Gate, FOMO hit me so hard, dude, and I bought it. I've been playing. It's like perfect on the Rock Ally, man.
Yeah.
It runs. Mwah.
At least you can take that with you at the Gamescom, though. That's the difference.
I will show you the beauty of Baldur's Gate on the Ally live at Gamescom.
Final Fantasy 16, you can't. So there was the trade-off.
See, Play Anywhere has been around for a long time, right? Like, I want to say Quantum Break was the first Play Anywhere title. And ever since I have the Ally, which is now 2 months or so, I feel like it annoys me even more when a game doesn't have it. And it is literally a good reason to get more games on PC than on console.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Star Wars or something, yeah? I usually get all third-party games on Xbox. But with Xbox titles, yes, those usually, not all, but most of them have Play Anywhere.
Yeah.
So I can take it back and forth to PC, to the Ally. But when I'm investing now in Final Fantasy, it is really something that annoys me, that I spent $80 on a game, 80 euros on a game, and then I can't play it on my Ally. That annoys me, man. It annoys me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But yeah, I'm going to go quickly back through chat before we get into our first topic, which is Baldur's Gate. And I did ask the community what they've been playing as well. So So Daz has of course been deep diving. I know I've been talking about Final Fantasy 16 there. He's put 105 hours into it. He hasn't platinumed it yet, but there's still lots to do, he says. So, but he's loved that. He's now playing Final Fantasy 7 Remake. And again, he's got a PlayStation 5, so he's going through that for the first time as well. He's getting in. He bought a whole bunch of Final Fantasy games after playing 16 because he loved it. So he's probably going to be rocking through those for a while, which is good. Dave Mack has been playing some Ratchet and Clank, Grounded, and Halo. Awesome choice
Sweet.
again. Marion's been playing some Spider-Man Miles Morales. Awesome. Stefan Gill has been playing some Diablo 4, but has been thinking about jumping back into Fallout 76 again before Starfield. Okay, awesome stuff. The Black John says he was also thinking about playing a Bethesda game before Starfield, but his backlog is telling him no. That's fair.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Yep. To be fair, every waking day, I think, should I start another Skyrim save? Should I do it? And I think, no, stop it, because you've got a whole load of games you need to catch up on. So I have to force
I've been
myself.
thinking about Skyrim on the Ally again, because Skyrim is one of the games that does not support Play Anywhere.
Oh.
Which baffles me why they don't do that. But so I would have to start a new playthrough there, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time.
Yep. Same. They've also asked there, does my blue controller work in it? Yes, the blue controller does work on the PlayStation 5. Works fine. Works better than it does on PC, which is strange. Although there is a little bit of a weird clicking noise, like the motor's revving, so I'm going to have to check that out. Lady Foxfire hasn't... Oh, there she goes. Now she's given us a lot. So originally she said, I've been playing a lot, which doesn't narrow it down, but then she followed that up with another one, saying Vampire Survivors, Modern Warfare 2, Zombie Army 4, Remnant 1, and Halo Infinite. That's an awesome list of games there. I'm guessing you're playing Remnant 1 before you try or think about getting Remnant 2. But good shout. Awesome list.
Also a game I hear a lot of good things about, man.
Yes. Yeah.
There's also Atlas Fallen coming, man. This looks also super good.
There's a lot of games that I'm going to have to wait and just get on sale next year, because there's no chance I'm getting around to them this year. Not a hope in hell. Especially, and thankfully, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is first quarter of next year, so I don't have to worry about fitting that one in this year. Spidey, I'm not in a rush to get either. At all.
I can't wait for that, man. I'm super excited for Spidey.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, but it's not one I'm going to jump on, because I'll probably still be knees deep in Starfield and Forza at that point. Misuko has been playing Dredge. Nice, that's a good indie game. Awesome stuff. I think I've caught up. I hope I have. Is there anybody else that I've missed? Shout out below. See what else people are playing. Sappho has been fighting the sun in Street Fighter 6. Nice. Playing Ratchet and Clank. And The Last of Us 2 on PlayStation 5. Awesome. And waiting for Lies of P and Starfield. Yes. Oh, I forgot about Lies of P. God, that's coming out soon as well, isn't it?
Dude, I feel so bad for those developers. It's like, how can... I mean, I know this is not an Xbox exclusive. It's not.
Yeah,
I get it. But it is heavily associated with Xbox because it's a day one Game Pass drop. And how can you do it to yourself than to launch in parallel with Starfield?
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking? Literally, it's...
I think maybe it's a palate cleanser. It's a good
It
job it's on
looks
Game
really
Pass.
good.
Put it that way. It's a good job it's on Game Pass because I'll be trying it. Whenever I get a second.
I won't. I don't have the time. I have Starfield again.
I'll be streaming
And then
Starfield though. Like I'll be when I'm playing Starfield, I'll be streaming it. I already know that for sure. I've already set that as my main streamed game going forward on the channel is Starfield, 100%. That's the one I'm going to focus on.
I would bet that you are not the only one.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's going to be everybody. But the good thing, the one beautiful thing about Bethesda games, which is why I love watching different Bethesda streams of people playing it, no one's run through is the same. Everybody's game is different. But the way things happen in everybody's games is entirely different. Yes, you've got the same story beats here and there, but the point A to point B and all of these things is just wildly different for everybody. And the way you go about doing these missions is entirely different. So I think that's the one beautiful thing about it is I've watched countless Skyrim streams over the time, and they've all been hilarious. All of them have been entirely different. Whoever they've got as their companions is different. Whoever they've got with this, whatever it is that's going on, it's always been fun to watch.
Even if you go to the same planet, it will be different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, your planets will look different than mine.
Yeah.
Because of the procedural generation, and that is definitely something. And with 1,000 planets, if you go explore that on stream, you know that that you will find like the most beautiful places, and then you just wander off, and it will be a very cool game for streaming. It like Skyrim already was, but this is going to be absolutely on a different level.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a good game to stream, man. It's a good game to stream.
Yep, I'm gonna download like a bootleg version of the Interstellar soundtrack that isn't by Hans Zimmer, so I don't get copyright struck.
Dude, did you see some fan posted it got viral on
with
on
Matthew
Twitter?
McConaughey's voiceover.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I was like, beautiful.
Absolutely, man.
Exactly how it should be. That's a perfect trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am so looking forward to that game now, and I just can't wait to dive into it. And like I say, I'll be streaming that game to death. It's like the last couple of games that I've played like that. God of War I played entirely on stream. Granted, that only lasted 6, but I did the entire thing on stream. But yeah, I can't wait. There's been a few more though, and then we'll get into the topic. Jesper says he's been playing PUBG because he's an addict. To be fair, you're probably the only person I know now that still plays PUBG. I do like jumping on it from time to time though, because it is still a really good game and very intense when you get to the final circle. They've just changed a little bit of it. Balintone's been playing Halls of Torment, the bastard child of Diablo, and Vampire Survivors. Sin has just finished the main campaign in Forza Horizon 5 Rally Challenge DLC. Oh, nice. Well done. That was a cool DLC.
Yep.
Voidlock has been playing Remnant 2 and Destiny 2. Balintone's also been playing Hades, which is Play Anywhere title. And I think that is it. We're all caught up. So, Boxy.
Nice.
It's now time. Oh, your lights are gone off. And a very dark.
My lights have gone off.
Hey, there we go. Yes, the moment you've been waiting for, Boxy. You can.
The moment I've been what moment have I been waiting for?
To wax lyrical about your favorite game of the moment, Baldur's Gate. So, yes, Baldur's Gate has released, of course. It's released at the moment. It's sitting at 97 on Metacritic with 13 reviews. So not many so far, but of course it's such a gigantic game that I don't expect many reviewers to have got through it enough to be able to put a big review out as yet. This is also what I think is going to happen to Starfield, by the way, because I don't think they're going to give review codes out until the game is out.
Yeah.
So you probably won't see many reviews, if any reviews, for Starfield.
You think so?
Away. Yeah.
You think so that they won't hand those out?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure.
But
Why
even
would
if
you
they
think
did,
that?
even if they
Why
did,
would-
much like Baldur's Gate, who had the review copies in due course, it doesn't mean they're going to be finished it enough. And that's why we're seeing Baldur's Gate reviews still going through, and still only like 13 there so far. So you know where it is? I'd rather reviewers did that and they didn't force themselves to a deadline and just posted it when they finished it, than try to rush to a deadline and put out a review that isn't like of a full game.
I do agree. I do agree.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they said like the campaign. What did they say? Something in between 30 to 40 hours, and you will have finished the campaign.
Yeah.
Which is a very fair thing to do for a review, because like doing all side stuff, nobody does that for reviews.
Yeah.
But I think if you finished the campaign and played some of the side stuff, it is a fair point to actually give you a review. I know that Starfield has to offer a lot.
Yeah.
And to like really understand how good like base building is or ship building is, you have to invest like 10 hours into it. But I think they will have reviews. I don't see them not doing that, because reviews, they don't have the same impact like they used to, especially not for Game Pass titles. I get that, because there's really no point in like having a proper review when it's in Game Pass and you just can't check it out.
But the
for
only
yourself.
reason I say that is because if you have a think back to the post that they put out about open to review review units and to apply with Keymailer and things like that. If you have a look at what they posted regarding what game you're getting with the Keymailer, it was just the premium version of Starfield, and you get early access to it by a week. So they weren't giving any favors to the people that were reviewing it. You were literally just going to get the same early access that a person that's buying premium would get.
Yeah, agreed.
So
I do agree that is the thing, but that is the thing for the regular streamers.
Yeah.
I still think that the big media outlets and the bigger influencers will get a review code, because you kind of need that. You kind of want people out there on social media bragging about, ooh, this is a 94, 95 Metacritic. You want that, especially with a game like Starfield, which is that big. So I would be absolutely shocked, honestly, if they don't have that. I just don't know how much in advance they will actually give people that. There has been this rumor that actually today, I think it was today, the preload, the actual full preload should start. I think this was leaked on Amazon or something. And it is like, if that is true, that within the next couple of days they have the preload ready, there's no reason to not have a review copy ready either.
yeah. Yeah, it's I suppose
So-
it all depends. It all depends. But hey ho. Yes, Baldur's Gate. Speaking of which,
Baldur's Gate,
yes,
yes.
it did. It's doing really well so far, and
Yeah.
extremely well on Steam. We had about 800,000 users, I think, at peak, which is in line with where Hogwarts Legacy achieved in its peak as well. So it's as good as that in terms of, I think it's second almost all time peak game, or at least single player game.
This year. But
year.
it entered the top 10.
Yeah.
It entered the all-time top 10 of Steam, of the Steam charts.
Yeah.
It's doing
Squeaked in.
fantastic there. It sits at I think it was a 95.
97 so far.
97.
Yeah.
Metacritic. It's one of the best reviewed games of all time.
Yeah. And it's a juggernaut,
97.
but there's a couple of
Hang on.
things that I wanted to bring out for it as well, Boxy, that you'll It's a curious one because, of course, we know it's had some negative connotations in the community, not by the developers, but primarily by plastic warriors that want to kind of use it as some leverage in the plastic wars.
Yeah, that is so funny to see that. You see those console warriors out there, like, ooh, look at this PlayStation exclusive game.
Yeah.
Like, and then the studio head actually posted underneath one of those stupid comments, "No, it's not."
Yeah.
And then people came at him, "You're just an export," or something like that. It is like, okay, dude.
Yeah, he was the director of communications for the studio, and he was like, "No, it's not an exclusive."
Yeah.
It's not. It's literally finished for the Series X. They're just not releasing it separate to the Series S. And what they want to do is make sure that the co-op works all right on the Series S. That's it. As soon as that's done, the game's releasing. So it's not going to be too far away. You're probably talking a matter of weeks. It's not going to be that long.
They already confirmed it's probably not going to be this year.
Really?
It's
God, that's
at least, yeah. At least, like, it really looks like they have their issues with the Series S.
That's really weird, considering it works on the base Steam Deck.
Yeah, but the Steam Deck does not have local co-op.
It does.
They removed that. No, it does not. They removed it for the Steam Deck version because Steam allows that. Steam allows developers to take away features in order to make the game Steam Deck compatible.
I've seen people have local co-op on the Steam Deck. I've seen screenshots.
I don't think so, dude.
Yep.
You must be confusing something. Hang on.
Yeah.
I'll Baldur's Gate. Go up. So it is disabled, but you can hack it and enable it. And it runs at like that. It is officially disabled. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've chosen to disable it, but you can't enable it.
You can't enable it like with. You have to go to the. It says here like I'm in the Reddit thread right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So officially it's disabled. But you can go to the properties and launch argument,
then I would say on that
certain values.
I would say on that front, then, if that's an issue on the Series S, just disable it on the Series S.
They can't. Xbox does not allow it.
Well, they should.
That's the thing. Yeah, well, but Xbox demands parity in games. They allow you to reduce resolution on Series S or not have a 60 FPS mode or something like that, but you cannot have game features removed. It's what Xbox demands. And
well, then
I don't know about you. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, honestly, because it's not the first time that we hear that developers struggle with the Series S, particularly with the RAM.
So what is it? What are they trying? What does anybody know? What frame rate they're trying to achieve with local co-op?
Again, come again. Sorry.
What performance are they trying to achieve with local co-op? Are they trying to get
That's a good question.
Are they trying to get it 60? Because if they're trying to do 60 at local co-op, then I would say
I don't know. They never. I don't know that. I don't know if they ever specified that. They just said the local co-op does not meet our expectations, whatever that means. I don't expect the game to run like maybe they have a performance mode on console.
The one thing I would say then for Larian going forward as a studio, to make this process a lot easier, especially if Xbox is involved in a demand and feature parity. If it's working in a mode on Series S, then so be it. But give the option in the menu to just disable local co-op. Like in your own game, just have the option to just disable local co-op. No matter whether that's Series X or Series S. Just give the option to just disable it. So it's there, If it works like shit on Series S, then so be it. If it's there and it's running at 27 frames or 25, whatever it is, if someone wants to play that shit, then you can play it. If they don't, then they don't. I think that would be the much simpler way to do it. If it's we don't want to release it with this thing because it's jittery or whatever, patch it as time goes on. I can guarantee the amount of people actually playing local co-op on Baldur's Gate is absolutely finite. I can guarantee there's next to nobody playing local co-op on Baldur's Gate.
Not sure about that.
No, but no, honestly, the amount of people that are on PC, how many people on PC are playing local co-op?
Yeah, but PC is not a platform that is known for local co-op.
No, but it's still
like. Have you ever played local co-op on your PC?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
I have not.
But it is there. But it is there as a feature. You know what I mean?
It is there as a feature, but it is a different thing on consoles. I've played tons of couch co-op on my consoles in the last 35 years.
When you're younger, yeah, absolutely. But right these days,
yeah, even these days,
no,
not as often anymore. Granted,
and especially like a game like Baldur's Gate, are you likely to play like couch co-op on Baldur's Gate?
Especially games like Baldur's Gate, Diablo. Those are the best couch co-op games there
Diablo, yes.
are.
Baldur's Gate, no.
Oh,
I wouldn't.
Dude, you haven't even played it.
But it's a turn-based. Turn-based game. It's not like Diablo.
I do get it. I do get your train of thought though, and I do agree that this is not good for Xbox. Like, we should read the super chat from Andrew Green.
Yeah. Five super chat from Andrew Green. So thanks for that, Andrew. And he says, "I wouldn't delay Baldur's Gate for Xbox just because of split screen. Just patch it later." I agree.
I agree too. Fully spot on. But since Xbox demands that parity, I've been thinking about this actually a lot, because again, we have seen not one, not two, but a couple of developers now come out and openly argue about the issues that they have to with optimizing for Series S. It is what it is, whether we agree with that or not. Because of course, we've talked about this in length multiple times on your show, on my show, everywhere. PC is holding stuff back.
Yeah,
but there is something with the Series S that adds additional extra work for developers that some find troublesome. They don't have the time, the funding, whatever for it to do so. Baldur's Gate is just one example. Alan Wake, what are they? The developers of Alan Wake. Damn it, I'm blanking on the name. Someone in chat will know. Sorry, I'm blanking on the name. Alan Wake. Damn it! Remedy. Who made Max Payne and
Remedy?
Thank you, man. Remedy came out and talked about that it's painful to optimize for the Series S. There are just developers going out there openly and say, "Hey, the system does not have enough RAM. It requires so much extra work to optimize for that particular version." Now they only have that small install base when compared to the PlayStation anyway. And only half of those are Series S. And then it's a pain in the ass to optimize for. I do think that we will see more issues when like Unreal 5 games come out. And of course, then this parity thing from Xbox becomes an issue. I do get it why Xbox has it, because it would, like, how many developers would be just too lazy to even try?
Yeah.
You know, okay, we just remove this and that, and then you have a half-ass version of your game on Series S, and you do not want to have it, because that's not how they sell the Series S. They sell the Series S, hey, just play your game, yeah, and then like in every other game, you will have certain things removed, yeah. Where will this end? Now you talk about local co-op not being relevant, but then others say, I don't want to play this game online, remove the multiplayer or whatever, you know? Yeah, seriously, like Call of Duty, I don't need the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Just remove it. I'm fine. I'm fine with the campaign. Who plays Call of Duty multiplayer? Like, yeah, like seriously, I'm kidding here, of course, yeah. But where do you start and end? So I get the parity clause, but then on the other hand, you do have these issues, and now Xbox is missing one of the biggest games of this year. They are missing out on that, and it will come in 24. But who cares in 24 about this game? It will be irrelevant by then. It is just what it is. The hype is here now. If they would have that game out now, then they would benefit from that, and that's just a harsh reality of what it is. So yeah, can they make an exception here? Probably not, because like again, then the next guy comes along and says, "Hey," EA comes along and says, "Hey, for those couple of million Series S out there, we are not going to put in a lot of work to optimize this or that, you know," and then you have the problems. It's, I get it, but on the other hand, I don't know how Xbox could not have seen this happening.
Yeah.
And it really, or everything that we hear and see, and when developers talk about it, points towards the RAM being the issue. And so the question really is, why did they put in simply 4 gigabytes less of RAM in the Series S? It is baffling. If that's the issue, you know, how could you not see this coming? You have a capable GPU and CPU, and now developers have to build a different pipeline management for their renderers because they don't have the same RAM available.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I don't know how demanding local co-op for Baldur's Gate actually is. I don't know. It's not, in single player, it's really not that taxing. Like, I can play it on my Ally with medium settings. It's
Does Diablo
like,
4 have local co-op?
Yes, it does.
Does it have local co-op on the S?
It does.
Okay, so it's achievable.
Yeah, it's you can't really compare that, because every engine works differently. Every game has different kind of mechanics, like the what's the interactability, or
interactivity.
The way how the way how this world changes around Baldur's Gate, and you're in Baldur's Gate, and the actions that you do, and the NPCs and everything, it is very different from what Diablo is. Diablo is like, there's the world, and it has a couple of monsters in it, and you go out and kill it, and that's it. But here, the actual world, the map, everything changes based on your decisions. There are over 1,700 different endings in that game. Like, this is different. And then you have to do that in split screen. I don't know how demanding it is. I'm just saying, we cannot compare. Like, it's the same when I see people out there, like, Doom is running at 60 FPS with ray tracing on. So why does not every game have 60 FPS with ray tracing enabled? Because engines work different, game mechanics work different. It is what it is. And plus, and I want to, people leave that always out of the conversation, is not every developer is equally talented. It is just what it is. And I'm not saying that Larian are not talented. On the contrary, Baldur's Gate is insanely good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, not everyone has the same skill like the Coalition. The studios just don't have the same skills like the Coalition. So not every game will run at 60 FPS and 4K resolution and looking stunning like Gear 6 will. It's just not. It's not gonna
And
happen.
Gear 6
You
definitely
know?
will, yeah. With ray tracing,
Gear
bells
6
and whistles, everything.
everything. You will have like one of, if not the most beautiful game ever made when that game comes out. I have zero doubt about that.
Yeah,
Zero doubt.
yeah.
But does that mean that every Unreal Engine 5 game will look that way?
Nope.
No.
No, absolutely
So,
not.
and why is that? So we have to consider here multiple things. The fact that this game skips Xbox, is this a big deal? Well, judge for yourself. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't consider Baldur's Gate a system seller. On the other
Yeah.
hand, it is an absolute massive success on PC.
Yeah.
Like record-breaking success, rightfully so. So, and Xbox fans are gonna miss out on that. And when it comes out in 24, yeah, like 6 to, I don't know, 12 months later, it will, like, you will see for 2 days, oh, now it's running on Series X on Twitter, and then that's it. It's not gonna move the needle whatsoever. And yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about this? Is this an issue for Microsoft?
For Microsoft, yeah, I think so. I think we've both mentioned this. I think feature parity can harm themselves. I think they need to get rid of
Yeah.
feature parity between Series S and Series X. There's clearly limitations on the Series S that can't be done in the Series X because the X is simply so much more powerful than the S. And if one of those features is local co-op, then I would absolutely be saying, okay, for the Series S, you don't have local co-op. For the Series X, you do.
Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line when you when you remove the parity clause and allow those things to be removed?
I would say
Where do you...
the only thing is the parity clause for me specifically would be on more of a performance aspect. And by that I mean, okay, if one of them is running at 60, then the other one needs to run at 60.
But they don't have that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely fine to release a performance mode on Series X and not on Series S.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying.
They don't have
but
that.
I think I personally think they should, but then again, that's different matter. I think if they're going to do any form of parity, it shouldn't be on complete feature parity, because then you're restraining yourself with technical issues. And if there is technical issues, one where they could look at it and say, realistically, how many people on S are going to be playing local co-op for Baldur's Gate? Is that something that we should look at binning for certain things and not for others? It depends. If the studios, for instance, a studio could come to them and they could go, okay, are you going to have any technical issues releasing any of the features that you've got? Or do you have any technical issues getting any of these features working on the Series S? Yes or no? Yes, we're having a real difficult time trying to get this working on S, but it works fine on X. However, the rest of the game works absolutely fine. In those circumstances, like I say, on certain...
Who makes the decision?
Certain circumstances.
Who makes the decision?
That would be Xbox.
Yeah, but...
Have to be. It has to be. Xbox would have to say, okay, no, not the studio, because it's not down to them. They're ultimately trying to port the game in the first place. And if Xbox asked them if they're having any issues, then I would say, then Microsoft need to make that, or Xbox need to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, then if on the S you can't get local split screen working because it's too demanding and it would take 12 months to fix it, by that point the game's done, dusted, and out of the way. People are going to return to it, or people have already played that on PlayStation 5 or PC by that point. It's the same thing with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yes, people are going to play it when it comes out on Xbox, but it's been out for that long now. We're talking years. People have either just gone out and played on PlayStation 4 or 5 or bought it on PC.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, I'm sick of waiting now. I'm just going to go and get a PlayStation or play it on PlayStation. And that's an issue that Xbox will have if they continue to force feature parity, like certain like that isn't actually affecting the vast majority of the users. If the game works absolutely fine as a single player game, then release the single player game. If you've just got a feature like
Can you put a poll in the chat? I want to hear the community's thoughts. Should Xbox get rid of the parity
you know what I really
clause
wish
between
they'd do is
Series
allow
X?
you to put a poll in the chat without having to go to fucking YouTube Studio. That would be delightful.
Oh, you can. You can do that on YouTube.
Can you now? I don't even have YouTube
Yeah,
open.
You can.
Aye. Let's open up a quick tab and that would just get rid of us there. Let's go onto YouTube and let's start this up then. Let's open this bad lad up. Open it up on this stage. Woohoo!
Any
Adverts. Right, poll in the chat. Here we go.
Oh.
Feature. Harry.
Yeah, because I really I'm not sure if I want the parity clause to be removed. I think the two SKUs that Xbox has, it lives off of this thing that you have that it is the same game that you get on Series X and S, and one is just decreased in frames and resolution, maybe. This is the whole idea of this entire two SKU thing.
There you go.
But then, perfect.
Poll is up.
So, yeah, but then what do you do? What do you do when you see more and more developers openly complaining about Series S being a lot of work to optimize for?
I had a rant about
I don't
this
think
the other day. I had a rant about this the other day. Yes, it's a lot of work for devs to optimize for, but ultimately they're getting paid to work. The salaried.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
I know it's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
But it's work. Work is work. Like I can understand it's extra work to do the job, but that's just part and parcel of the job that you're doing. It is. It's just part and parcel of it.
And no. Yes and no. I do agree with you that this is not a Series S thing. We see a lot of games not being optimized lately.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Like
in general.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor comes out and runs like ass on PC.
Yeah.
It was okay on consoles and good, but on PC it was really awful. You see, which game came out completed?
Yeah, it's more. That's what I'm saying. It's more of a modern issue these days. That yes, we had bugs and things previously, but they weren't to the point where things were like performance-wise, absolutely shocking. Like from the off, like almost like unplayable.
When Skyrim came out, it ran at 3 FPS on
yes.
PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but come on, that's Bethesda.
The thing
that's
is,
Bethesda.
You have to, but you have to look at this from two sides. That the one side is, it is always easy to, why didn't the games devs not optimize for it? Now, if they try to optimize for games, that takes up time. Yeah, and at some point, it is just a business situation where you will optimize and optimize and optimize for another year. You have to pay 1 year extra salary for every of your employees and whatnot. And it is a lot of money. And then the question comes up, okay, how much time do you actually invest into that? Do I want to defend the release of broken games? No. But I do also want to say that Xbox made it more difficult for developers. They just did. They have two SKUs that they have to optimize for. And one of those SKUs has actual hardware limitations. It makes it is more difficult to optimize for.
Yeah.
But it's also something we have learned. The tools are not the tools that developers need, can use.
Yeah.
It is, and then you have a significantly smaller install base with Xbox consoles. You just have. And then you have like 20 plus 21 million Xboxes out there. Sony reported the other day almost 43 million. So it's more than double. the install base. So if you take those 20 million or 21 million consoles, and let's say half of them are Series S, it's like, what? Why even bother optimizing for that? And that's the harsh reality how business works. Do I like that? No, I don't like that. But that's how it works. And it is not that the developers sitting around saying, we are too run. I'd rather go play golf and instead of optimizing my games. It's just that you don't have the funding for that. Yeah, from your publisher or
And
whatever.
see what I've said though
So-
on the back end on that funding side of things though, is if Microsoft are absolutely determined to have feature parity between the two consoles, then they need to subsidize that.
Yeah, but then, everyone comes along and says, then EA comes along and says, listen, if you want FIFA optimized, you gotta give us.
No. I mean more when it comes to things like those. Okay, well, we're having a bit of difficulty getting this feature parity to get because of your clause. The feature parity on this split screen.
They already do that. They have been in contact. The technical advanced.
Yeah. But they're just
group or
sending
whatever.
the team to help them as opposed to literally saying, okay, well, you're complaining about the fact that you haven't got the funding to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, but again,
subsidize it.
if they do that for Larian, like, okay, Larian complains.
Again,
we don't have the money to.
If that's the case, then that's the bullet that they're going to have to chew because it's their own parity clause that they put in there.
True, but then again, where do you start and end with this? This is always the same. Like then FIFA comes along and says, we have this new animation thing and it is super hard to optimize on Xbox 4. We can't achieve parity. And then the next guy, and Ubisoft comes along and says, Avatar, shit, damn it, it looks too good. We don't have the money to optimize it for the Series S. Everyone will start. So you can't do that. That's not how businesses work. And at the end of the day, Xbox has to make their money. They already have the smaller install base. They have to recuperate the money that they invested in. It's also a consideration from them. You can't just go out there and subsidize everyone. It's not possible.
But it's themselves. But the problem is, though, they've put themselves in a hole by doing that in the first place. So
I do agree. I do agree. They put that on themselves.
Yep.
They did put that on themselves, and that's what the question I've been asking myself. I was absolutely pro Series S. I was like, fantastic idea. Give the gamers like a cheap entrance, hook them in, lure them into the ecosystem. Perfect. And from a customer point of view, it still is. Nothing has changed there. It is a fantastic entry point. You can get the Series S now for $250. It's super. It's awesome. Like cheap entry point to console gaming, no doubt. But then you start to see less and less games being optimized for Xbox. That's one of the main reasons why we see so many games perform better on PlayStation, because they are not optimized on Xbox. But then it is again the question, and it is not optimized for Series X either. That's the thing. That's why PS5 on a regular basis, when it comes to like the Digital Foundry comparisons and whatnot, outperform the Series X version. It is just what it is, because developers have their budget, and you rather invest it in optimizing the version that will sell more.
Yeah.
That's the harsh, and then you make it double hard on Xbox. It's like from software mode for development, make it a little extra hard with the two SKUs. So I'm not sure if I'm still a super fan of this. Because then I become a selfish gamer. I only have the Series X. I don't have the Series S.
There'll be lessons learned. There'll be lessons learned going forwards. I don't think with regards to a cheaper SKU, I think they'll still do that going forwards. But I think there'll be lessons learned on what they have as the benchmark specs for that cheaper SKU. So yeah, I have a little bit of less GPU performance, but in terms of RAM availability, that needs to be on par, I think, at this point. We know this just from PC, that RAM is a huge mitigating factor as to how your games perform or how they don't.
They should
perform.
have not cheaped out on RAM on the Series S.
And it's and let's face it, RAM is one of the cheapest things you can install. On even on PC, it is super cheap to implement extra RAM, and we're talking about 6 gig.
I agree.
Like 6 gigs, not even $30. Like,
Yeah.
I can literally pick up 32 gig of RAM for 50 for the PC now. So like when you're talking about the RAM availability, and it's not like super high end RAM. It's just your basic run of the mill DDR5. Nothing like.
Agreed.
So yeah, I think going forwards, lessons will be learned by Xbox, hopefully, and that continue to do the cheaper SKU. I'm all for the cheaper SKU. I love my Series S. Love it. It's an absolute little machine when things get running on it, and the fact that it does half the stuff it does anyway is brilliant. And it's a good cheap buy-in, but it does have its limitations. And I think going forward, they do need to have a little bit more RAM in there. GP, yes, I don't care about the GPU because again, you can scale back fidelity and you can scale back resolution, and you can have it at 30 frames only console, whatever, and 60 frames for your smaller games and 120 frames for certain first-party studios who are really top of that game, like Playground Games or whatever it is, who's got 120 on Series S. But outside of those, just make sure there's enough memory in that thing to be on par with the X, at least. Bottom line. But, and again, whilst I also agree, where do you draw the line and who gets what? Xbox brought that issue on themselves, so I think they have to do, whether it be case by case basis, and say, okay, we're not going to publicly announce that we're subsidizing this thing, but if there are issues with certain developers, then we'll say, okay, we'll subsidize to ensure that this works. Because it's going to be here for the remainder of this gen, so they're going to have to.
They have to. That's the thing. What is their way out now? There really isn't much
That's
they
the
can
only
do
thing
right
they're going to
now.
have to. They're going to have to seriously expand on the technology group that they've got. The Xbox Game Studios Technology Group, or whatever it's called. They're going to have to seriously expand the headcount on that and get those guys farmed out to studios that are having issues and just go, boof.
Yeah.
Go. Like immediately. If you've got issues with this, we'll get in on it early. We'll help you sort that out, help you get that ready so it's done. So at least that in par is a subsidization because that's your funding of your staff that you're paying for to help develop your game. So
I agree.
So I think that's one thing. One area they should, for the remainder of this gen, do is seriously ramp up the technology group that they've got internally in order to support third-party studios that are struggling.
Absolutely. And really actually make the development platform developer-friendly.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah, currently it's not, from what we've heard. But enough of this grim stuff. Enough of this grim stuff. Boxy, what do you love about Baldur's Gate? Come on, I haven't played it, so tell me what makes this game a 97
to get
on
over
Metacritic?
the fact that
what makes this game a 97 on Metacritic? What makes it so wonderful? Tell me.
Still need to get over the fact that you say it's not comparable to like an Octopath Traveler because you have to move your character.
Yes, it's more XCOM. It's more XCOM. Or a Tactics. It's more like a Final Fantasy Tactics or a Gears Tactics or an XCOM. It's not.
Gears Tactics, no.
Yes.
It is. I get that. It looks in the first place. It is a full-fledged RPG, which Gears Tactics is not. It's a 4X strategy game, and this is not. This is a full-fledged story narrative-driven RPG. It's so well done. The story hooks you like from the very first moment. It actually starts hooking you into character creator. Honestly, so good. Like the things you can do with your character.
A giant penis.
You can make it a giant. Yeah, you can even adjust the genitals. It is true. It has a genital. It is so much fun. I spent way too much time in the character creator, and then you actually start the game, and it is a really good story, man. It is like high fantasy settings just hit it with me anyway. I'm just a fan of that, but then you have like this really good story. Some interesting things happen at the very beginning of the game. Then you start to meet your companions, then you have your party together. You get to know these different characters, and you just randomly run into certain events in the world, like things that appear to be like, oh, this could be the start of a side quest, and it turns out if you just walk by, okay, you can do that. If you do help them, and you have a little later, you find those people in your camp, and they actually change your character, your stats. Like, it is the complexity of this game is insane. Like, the way how the story can go, it happens so often that I just go back like to a save file an hour ago, because I realize, oh shit, I could have done that to prevent to happen this, and now because I killed this family, this entire village is suffering, and I don't want that village to suffer. So it's phenomenal. It's like the complexity of the story branches is insane, and the writing itself is incredible. I don't know how many lines they must have recorded, because again, with all the options that you have, things can turn out so differently, and it is crazy to me how many lines they have recorded, and every line is good. Like, literally, it is that the writing in this game is, nothing is cheesy, nothing feels like, oh, this was a film mission, or even the side missions, they don't feel like side missions. You sometimes even don't. I literally, like, half of the side missions that I didn't even realize that this is a side mission. I thought it is intertwined with the main story, and it kind of is. Like, every side story has impact on the outcome of your main story. It's phenomenal. Really, this is. Then it's drop dead gorgeous. Like, the environments look stunning, super detailed. Like, there's a lot of diversity in the environments. Yeah, great lighting. You have like complete free of camera angles. You can play this entire game like a what's it called? Like Diablo kind of style, like top down view, bird view. You can play it like The Witcher, third person behind the shoulder, and everything in between. It's like crazy how good this is done. The animations are fun. It is and good, and everything phenomenal. And then the combat itself, it is. I know turn-based is not for everyone, but the way how they do it is like, if you get behind it and understand some of the things, how you need to use the environment in your favor, and how you have to really think about, okay, with I'm playing a high elf sorcerer, I can buff my companions here and do that, and then I get like this. At the next 2 rounds, I will probably get destroyed, but then if I survive it, then I have like this super duper build magic stack of abilities and shit. It is like so fantastic. And then you have the tons of dialogue options. You get it's phenomenal, dude. It like, yeah. I don't know why you don't get it. It is, you're
Because
missing
Starfield's
out, man.
due out in a month, and and my ADHD would not allow me.
Just,
But I also don't like
out.
turn-based action RPGs that require you to move your characters in between attacks.
I don't get that.
That's why I don't like XCOM. That's why I don't like any of those games.
I don't get it.
I don't. I like turn-based RPGs, which is why I put out a cheeky tweet as well, by the way, earlier. I said, oh, so now turn-based RPGs are cool. after being told that Final Fantasy doesn't need to go back to being a turn-based RPG. Because turn-based RPGs are outdated. Aha. Okay, now the
Are they though?
now the turns have been tabled.
Yeah, indeed.
Now they're all
Indeed,
hip and cool again because Baldur's Gate's doing well. But bring me back a modern turn-based Final Fantasy, and I will be absolutely over the moon. I will be absolutely in my element. I would get that thing day one and on every platform going. Oh, I know the turns have been tabled.
Listen, I do get why you're reminiscent of the turn-based Final Fantasies. But if I look at Final Fantasy VII Remake and 15, I haven't played 16 yet, but it's very similar. I do get it. I do think that they have found a cool mix in between live action and some of the options you have in a turn-based game. I think it's really well done. But coming back to Baldur's Gate and the hype of turn-based games, it's great to see that games like this can have such a success, because the Dungeon and Dragons type of games, like in a lot of dialogue choice you have to make, you actually have to roll the dice. Like in a D&D game, and it is definitely not mainstream. This game is through and through not mainstream, but it's still such a massive success, because if you do niche games right, Elder Scrolls had the same. Elden Ring had the same effect.
Yeah.
If you do a niche game right, you still can become. It still can become.
Well, that's what it's
a
proven.
Massive success.
That's what it's proven. It's proven that you don't need to follow the trends in order to make something popular. If you do,
you just have to make it good.
Yeah, you just have to make a really good game. As long as that really good game, regardless of the genre, is really good.
Yeah.
Then it's going to do well. And this is what a lot of even developers don't understand, is they don't need to chase trends. Like, Baldur's Gate can keep the play style it has. It doesn't need to change a play style in order to fit a trend. It could have been another Diablo, for instance, or something along those lines, but they chose to stick with a turn-based RPG, which is exactly what it should be. And because it's done so well, and because the storytelling is to such a high degree, and I've heard that of many people, the story's brilliant, or the storytelling in it is really high. So if that's the case, then make sure, of course, I think all developers should do that. Ignore what the trends are and do what you think will actually, like, what is popular for the game. What is done really well for this franchise previously. Okay, people love the fact that it was this. Right, let's just stick to that and just make a really great game. And I can understand, and this is what I've said about Final Fantasy as well, though. I don't mind Final Fantasy having offshoots where it's more of a Devil May Cry, a hack and slash. Like, have your offshoots that do that. But you could quite easily take and keep the mainline Final Fantasy franchise as a AAA turn-based RPG. And
I agree.
As a side note, have your AAA action RPGs that are like your Devil May Cries, but you can call them something else, like your mainline numbered franchise, your Final Fantasy 1 through 16, personally, should have just remained turn-based, and so on and so forth. And then you have the offshoots like Crisis Core or Dirge of Cerberus or all of those, and your MMOs, etc., which are entirely different gameplay altogether. Do that. Expand into different avenues, but I think that's what developers should learn to do. keep their mainline stuff in line with what fans loved. And if you want to try something new, do an offshoot, branch off. Okay, well, this is Final Fantasy something or other. Fucking Wings of Paradise or something, I don't know, call it something fancy. And do kind of just a different name, but don't give it a number. Like, allows you to kind of have artistic freedom in a different style, but then not ruin what people have loved in the first place or what people have loved to start off with. And you can still be successful doing that. And Baldur's Gate has proved that. They don't need to change what's made them popular in the first place in order to be successful. They just need to make a really great game. And by all accounts, they've made a really great game. Granted, we've only had 13 reviews so far, but even out of those 13 reviews to get 97, that's pretty much critical acclaim across the board.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing though is,
and quick shout out as well, because this one's for you, Boxy. £5 super chat from Andrew Green. He says, "Don't forget the narrator is fantastic."
True that. The narrator is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Like this voice from the off, that tells part of the story, is phenomenally done. Like, yeah, when it starts to, and the narrator starts something like, from the off, you feel that this person is lying to you because blah 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 or stuff. It is so well done. It's incredible. And adding up on the narrator thing, there are some surprise moments like that you can completely miss, but are so crucial to the story. Like, when you want to rest your party, you have to go back to your camp and sleep. And sometimes when you do that, like, a woman enters your dream. And that actually tells an entirely strong part of the story. The thing is, you can't sleep as often as you want. You have to have certain supplies for that. So I was saving those and not sleeping for like the first 10 hours of the game, actually. Right. And I don't know how much I missed, honestly, because I missed this woman in my dreams. It's so
the woman of your dreams.
So I married the woman of my dreams, but you know what I mean.
Is that just in case the wife's listening?
I don't know. Could be.
But yeah, so continue.
Yeah. To your point about keeping mainline games the way they are, I do agree, but then that gamers would complain about it's always the same.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, doing offshoot versions. Like, for instance...
Yeah, but those don't hit... Like, who cares about Crisis Core?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. But that's where you can experiment. And if people do like it, then terrific. Then you've got another hit on your hands. But it's about experimenting. Like, you had Gears Tactics, which did well-ish, but it hasn't done well enough for them to go out and make another one. You've got Crisis Core, which people loved on the PSP, but ultimately it was a PS Vita game. Not a mainline game, so that they've just ported a portable game onto a console, which is why people were like, eh. But as we've mentioned with Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Final Fantasy 16, they've went down a route of, well, apart from 7 and 15, which were still kind of turn-based ish, but still had a party system. Ultimately, they were more action-orientated. They weren't just, okay, select your attack and then it does the attack for you. But even if you have a look at going across, games like Octopath Traveler, games like Pokemon, which is still a turn-based RPG, and it still has sold 21 million units. So people clearly still like turn-based RPGs where you level characters up.
I do agree there.
So
I do agree
they could
there.
easily do
I'm
that.
just
And
saying,
again, we attach the Final
if you
Fantasy name to it, and you do an offshoot story. Like this is Sephiroth's story, and this is more of an action RPG, so you can get to like fight using Sephiroth properly, or same for Cloud or Zack, or so on and so forth. You get to branch out into different stories and different types of gameplay that way. And if those work, then you've got another kind of hit series on your hands where you can kind of branch out into this action RPG genre. But then you also, what you're doing in the process though is if you just force that particular genre on the mainline fans that have loved the series from the start, is then you lose that core fans. Like there's a lot of people that won't pick up the game anymore because they're just like, well, that's not what I loved Final Fantasy IV, or that's not what I loved. Like if Baldur's Gate changed to a Diablo format instead of the turn-based RPG, a lot of those guys would probably be like, this isn't what I want. This is not what I like either, and they'll probably not return to it if it stays that way. And it's the same. It's the same in all things. You've got to be able to balance it. Like you wouldn't just have Halo Wars without Halo.
True.
So it's about
I do
just
agree.
finding
And
the right balance.
I do agree. I'm just saying that if you stick too long to the same, like Gears. Yeah, take Gears as an example. People have been complaining it's always Gears, it's always the same. It's like, and then they did something new with Gears 5, where they had the semi-open worlds and side quests and stuff. And people complain, that's not Gears. It's like, it's kind of hard for developers sometimes, I think, to like modernize games without losing the core fan base. Similar things happen to Halo, let's be real here, yeah. And you kind with some things, in some mechanics you kind of have to move along because game design has changed over the last 20 years, especially with those long-running franchises. If you would make Final Fantasy VII today just with modern graphics the way it was back then, people would not enjoy it because there are a couple of game design things in there that are just not modern anymore.
Well, you can still modernize it. Like even if you have a look throughout the Final Fantasy franchise's history, the mechanics have never stayed the same. Even the turn-based mechanics or the magic or the way that things are implemented, they've all got different systems. So if you speak to people specifically from like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all of those have different gameplay mechanics when it comes to the turn-based RPG, whether it be the systems or whatever. And certain people are like, I really love 12. I really love 10
It's not just
the
combat, you know. It's not just the combat. It's like how you design the world.
How you
tell a story.
Yeah, ultimately
things
though,
like that.
Yeah, ultimately, well, Seven's worlds, naturally, if you're going to remake it, it's going to be an entirely different thing because the overworld on 7 was just a big sphere and it kind of just moved along the way as your craft moved.
Exactly.
But so that would change. But I'm talking holistically. I'm more talking the combat than the rest of the world. Ultimately, the rest of the world would have to change. It would have to be changed to modernize it. But you would still have the standout features, like you'd still have the random kind of weapons that are traversing the world that you can fight. And there's certain like landmarks that you would have to travel to in order to progress the story a certain way, like Cosmo Canyon and so on and so forth. But ultimately, the actual gameplay in itself, as long as that stays the same, you can kind of modernize the rest of it in order to keep with whatever's the kind of current thing. And we know how open worlds are being made these days, especially like if you have a think about the size of Final Fantasy VII's map. Realistically, it's not huge. Like the actual open world section on Final Fantasy VII is pretty tiny, and a lot of it's just linear. You kind of funnel down to a certain area, and those open worlds are just to do kind of grinding and fighting monsters. And there's some kind of little hidden things like finding Yuffie or finding Cid, or so on and so forth in the open world. Like you can actually entirely miss out finding Yuffie in Final Fantasy VII, the original. You can completely miss getting that character altogether from the game if you don't know where and how to find her.
Yeah.
But there are certain things you can keep and certain things that have to change, and I agree on that with you. Like, there are certain bits about Final Fantasy VII Remake that you'd have to change, but ultimately the combat side you could keep the same and it would be fine. We've seen that with the likes of Octopath Traveler. We've seen that with 100 Heroes, which is coming out next year. Like, turn-based RPGs are still very popular, which is why they're still doing well. But
I do agree.
you can get a good balance. I think you can get a good balance, ultimately. And I agree, though, certain aspects of these games have to change. They have to. That you couldn't have the same open world in Final Fantasy VII because it would be outdated. You couldn't just have this floating, okay, we'll get in the airship and then the world moves, but you don't. Like, that wouldn't work. You would have to change the open world to suit a modern game. But the gameplay in itself, the combat side, that could easily stay the same. But, yes.
Agreed.
But
Yes, here we are.
Hats off to Baldur's Gate.
And you're not playing one of the best games of the year, man.
I'll be playing another best game of the year in Starfield not long after.
Oh, yeah. Soon, man.
Yeah.
Soon.
Not long.
You know what
at
they
all.
announced today with Starfield? They have announced a stream with... where is the tweet? There it is. Bethesda Game Studio tweeted out earlier today, like hour before the show started. Join Will Shen, who is the lead quest designer, and Emil Pagliarulo or something like that, who's the lead game designer for Starfield Q&A in the official Discord server on August 16th. So in a week. Which is pretty cool. They have an entire Q&A on the Discord.
Nice.
There. They are ramping up, man. I know people have been complaining about Starfield not getting like proper marketing and shit, but
There's a lot of advertising for Starfield. People just don't want to see it. Like, they released a controller, and the controller was the only thing I saw on my timeline for fucking a week straight.
yeah.
Then you've
But
got
it's not
all
what they-
Microsoft stores. All Microsoft stores have got just Starfield plastered around them internally now. You've got buses. You've got like Lucozade bottles over here plastered full of, like, which would usually be Call of Duty, is Starfield.
You have buses in the UK? Because I have not seen anything here in Germany yet.
Yep.
That's not a surprise. We never get Xbox advertisements. So, now the thing is that I've said this to you. I think in private. At the very end of the day, the attention span of people is short.
Yep.
The game isn't out before September 6th, which is still a month.
Yep.
We are talking here.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you would go full force right now, this would already be gone by the time the game comes out. You start marketing when people can actually buy the product, maybe a couple of days in advance. But they've been doing so much. They have announced, have you seen this ad with Samsung?
Yeah.
That stream, that Starfield will be available like on the Samsung streaming app for Xbox, xCloud, things like that. You see a lot, yeah. And the billboards and the buses and the TV ads and the online ads and stuff that will start much closer to the actual launch of the game.
Yeah.
But you can tell, like, we have these energy drinks here now in Germany with Starfield on it. You see it. You see, like you said, things like the controllers and all stuff already being out there. All those things, they take Starfield serious, man. There's no concern. What did you actually think of the Samsung TV ad for Starfield?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was good, and obviously Samsung are trying to push their TVs, but yeah, it was a good ad. It was a really good ad. but I expect no less because they've got a partnership with
Yeah.
Xbox for Xbox Game
Yeah,
Pass.
yeah, they do. Yeah.
It was again these little things all add up. These little things all add up. Whether or not you see a Samsung ad, play Game Pass, play Starfield Day One on Game Pass with Samsung TVs, or whether or not you see you buy a Lucozade bottle and it's got Starfield plastered on the side of it, or you log on to YouTube and I get Starfield ads on YouTube all the time, or you see the new animated thing that they keep putting up every couple of days of the new animated story for Starfield, or
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
then you just have a look at the trends of how many people are searching for Starfield, and it's significant. It's like way outweighing Spider-Man 2, which is it shows you the power of a Bethesda game. It really does.
Absolutely.
Because Spider-Man's synonymous.
I don't know if it's the bubble we are in. Like, obviously, a lot of our community are more Xbox centric.
Oh, I'm talking about
We have
Google
a lot of-
Trends. I'm talking about Google Trends.
Yeah, I know. It's one of. Let me finish, please.
Yeah.
So
Go on.
yeah, sometimes things get blurred when you think like everyone is talking about this or that. It's actually our little Xbox bubble.
Yeah.
But with Starfield, you can tell. You see like 96 million views
Yeah.
of the Xbox showcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, like record breaking. You see things like Google Trends. Starfield is regularly trending on social media channels. It has been trending the last week on Instagram. It's regularly on Twitter where Starfield trends. And that just shows you it's not just our Xbox bubble. People are genuinely excited for that game. And it's not just the diehard Xbox fans.
Yep. And because it's a big Bethesda, it's a huge Bethesda role-playing game, like a big open world action RPG. And that's what people love from Bethesda. They love these massive your choice, your way games, and they always have done. Like Skyrim is still one of the most played games and most streamed games, and it's been out like decades.
Yeah, it is.
And it's still going. And it's still every week people are starting new streams and new games and adding mods and playing the game. And Starfield is going to be no different. It's going to be trending for a long time, and it's going to be played for a long time.
I agree.
It's one thing people need to kind of realize as well is certain studios have the privilege of not requiring a backdrop of needing full force advertisement.
Yeah.
Skyrim didn't have full force advertisement. Look how popular that it was.
Yeah, agreed.
Like Final Fantasy 14 doesn't have full force advertisement. That's like one of the most popular MMOs in the world. Right up there with World of Warcraft.
Baldur's Gate, zero
exactly
advertisement.
Zero advertisement, and it had 800,000 people playing it on Steam consecutively at the same time.
Agreed.
So sometimes you don't need it because the word of mouth does it for you. And Starfield's word of mouth is serious. Like the amount of people and the amount of videos and the amount of people talking about Starfield is doing it for it. So yeah, they're going to add their own. They're going to add some advertisement here or there. They're going to do the Microsoft Store, and they're going to do the Samsung, and they're going to do the Lucozade bottles and the sports drinks and whatever it is that they've got in America that isn't Lucozade. God knows, Mountain Dew or something.
Yeah.
They're going to do these kind of little advertisement spots, and then near launch they'll put out the TV spots. But I think they want to get the TV spot right before they put that TV spot out. And to be fair, I still say they missed a trick not asking Hans Zimmer if they could use the the Interstellar soundtrack for a TV spot. Because that Interstellar one that guy made the other day with the Interstellar and Matthew McConaughey speaking over the top of it was exactly what the trailer should be.
Yeah,
that
I
gets
agree.
you hyped. That gets you hyped. But again, fans are doing this, and as you made, it went viral. This little Interstellar fan-made video went viral,
It absolutely did.
and that's what happens with it. Sometimes the best form of advertisement is just word of mouth. Sometimes you don't need to spend tens of millions of pounds on advertisement because
Yeah.
the fans do it for you. If they're that excited, it'll happen. And Baldur's Gate is exactly the same. Like the amount, and most of it for Baldur's Gate has been because look at the size of this guy's penis you can do. Look at these,
Yeah.
what you can sleep with. You can sleep with a bear. You can sleep with, like all of this random stuff that's caused people to buy the game. They're just like, what is this weird game? I am getting that game.
It will be the penis spaceship in Starfield.
Yes.
I promise you.
Oh,
With
there's gonna
two
be so many.
gigantic balls.
There's gonna be so many funny things. Dear me. But moving on from Baldur's Gate and Starfield for a moment, another game that was rumored as a potential remake or remaster release for current gen systems was Red Dead Redemption 1. But this week, of course, Rockstar. So they announced the PlayStation 4 and Switch version of Red Dead Redemption, which is just a straight port and nothing else.
Yep.
Fantastic. What do you make of this news, Boxy?
See, Red Dead 1 is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
I think Red Dead 1 is one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
In the top 5. It's phenomenal. Red Dead 2 was fantastic, no doubt. But Red Dead 1, at the time it came out, it just hit. It hit differently.
Yeah.
And so I wanted a proper remake. I would love a proper remake where, you know, new engine, animations overhaul, whatever. I would love that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't do that. It's a straight port, and Xbox is in trouble. According to many, many websites out there, Xbox is in trouble because the game didn't come to play to Xbox. It only came to Switch and PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
What all those media sites forgot is obviously that Xbox has the same version already, because you can already play it at 4K
Yep.
on Xbox for free
Yep.
if you have the
For the
original
low
game,
price
of course.
nothing.
For the low price of nothing.
Yep.
And now
it's
it
got
came to
4K,
PlayStation 4.
It's got increased level of textures and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now you look 16 times anisotropic filtering. It's wonderful, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you played it on One X or Series X?
One X, yeah, I played
Right.
it as soon as they announced it. I played it and thought it was fantastic.
And it looks stunning. It is now they released a lackluster port on PS4 and Switch.
Yeah.
So Xbox is in no trouble because there's really absolutely zero point in bringing an Xbox version out.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. Is it worth it on PS4? Listen, the game is still phenomenal, no doubt. If you've never played it and you're a Switch-only owner, why not? I think it's too much to ask for a game that is now, I want to say 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
I think to ask for $50 for such an old game that you have not improved at all is too much. No doubt.
Yeah.
It's still a phenomenal game, and if you haven't played it, it's again one of the best games ever made. So yeah, but man, Rockstar, they just wanted to make a quick buck here, obviously. What do
Yep.
you think?
I think having a Switch port is brilliant. and naturally you don't need to do anything to that. If you've got it working on Switch, great. It's a good game. You
Yeah.
don't need to change anything there. So I agree fully with the Switch port. That's a good idea. But the PlayStation 4 port, I think, is just a waste of time. Like if you're gonna port it to another console, you may as well have done a next gen version of that with increased level of
Exactly.
fidelity, with a few other bells and whistles.
At least the
Shine-
frame rate.
Yeah, frame rate 60 frames on both consoles. Boom, sorted. But then don't charge probably what they'll end up charging, which is 50 or 60 or whatever.
50.
Yeah.
50, yeah.
So yeah, I disagree with the PlayStation 4 format. I think they could have done a two versions. They could have done the straight port for PlayStation 4, but I think ultimately they should have really at this point released a next gen update for Red Dead, and I think people would have got more hyped for it. I know Switch owners will be hyped anyway because they can play Red Dead on the move now, which is fantastic because it's a great game. And I might even pick that up on the Switch. I might because it's a brilliant game.
It is. I was actually thinking about picking it up on Steam.
Yeah.
Because I still own it on. I still have the 360 version.
Yeah.
I was thinking about picking it up on Steam. Then I can actually play it on the Ally. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good show. It's a good show. But no, I think it was just I think everybody knows now it's just a quick money grab from Rockstar for the PlayStation 4 version. Like, how can we get it to every PlayStation user without putting in any effort? PlayStation 4 version.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's super lackluster, and it reminds me of the GTA. What was it? San Andreas port, which was also the remaster, which was also super lackluster and way too important, too expensive. Then, so yeah.
Yep. But moving on to our last topic, because we've managed to actually push out 2 hours here, Boxy. Look at that. Even though it's a light
already,
week,
man,
we've still managed to rant for 2 hours. Happy days.
Happy days.
Last one's a bit of a doozy, though. Modern Warfare 3 has been announced.
Yes, it has.
With a fancy trailer. Another trailer got released today, cinematic kind of trailer for that, a live action one. However, there's been very little push from PlayStation with regards to advertisement. So, isn't this a strange turn of events here? Do PlayStation still have the marketing rights for Call of Duty?
I think so, but I think that PlayStation
we know Jim Ryan said if it's going to go, or if Xbox is going to own Call of Duty, we don't see a point in having the advertisement rights. That's pretty much what he said in layman's terms, because ultimately it's going to go into Game Pass, and it's going to negate whatever advertisement thing we're going to have anyway. Because when people find out it's on Game Pass at no extra cost, what's the point? And it is, and they're not advertising it like it. I've seen, and I've subscribed to both the PlayStation and the Xbox YouTube channels. And Xbox just put that trailer up first.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the marketing deal does not prevent them from doing things like that.
Yeah.
They can't print like billboards saying "play it on Xbox." You know, they can't do that. They can upload the trailer to their YouTubes. I think they still own that, but I would assume that Sony significantly reduced the marketing budget. For Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Because at that point they would be advertising like
an Xbox
game.
Yeah.
By the time this game comes out, the deal will be done.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 3 will be an Xbox first party game, and Sony is not gonna advertise it.
Nope.
I do think though that they don't give the marketing rights back early, because that would also make like if Xbox could start this year already with advertising, play it on an Xbox, yeah, it would be crazy. Would be crazy. Maybe they did that. Maybe that if I would have been Phil Spencer, I would have attached that to the 10-year deal that they signed for Call of Duty. I would say, like, Jimbo, listen, dude, you had your chance. By the time that Sony signed the deal, Xbox really didn't need the deal anymore. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah, it is. The deal was already, they lost the FTC case and everything, and Sony, Xbox had leverage, man. And if I would have been Phil, I would have sit there at the table and said, okay, Jimbo, you get the 10-year deal, but you give us the marketing rights ASAP. Yeah, bam. And you remove that weird Game Pass clause that you have in the contracts that prevents us from bringing Call of Duty to Game Pass. I don't know if that happened, but of course Sony is not gonna market Call of Duty big time anymore.
Yeah,
they are just not. Even if they keep the marketing rights this year, next year, that's what we know. For until the end of 2024, they have the marketing rights. I would stick to the marketing rights, but really not invest any money. I wouldn't print the billboards anymore.
and it also depends on what was agreed when they agreed to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for the next 10 years. Because we don't know what part of that was, whether or not Sony went and said, okay, we'll keep Call of Duty on here, but we're not happy with, like, marketing what is effectively going to be an Xbox game going forward. So can we redact that or remove it so we don't have to pay for the advertisement rights going forward?
Yeah,
it could have been part of that. We don't know, but ultimately they were happy with the game remaining on the system, and they haven't been as forward, especially on its announcement of the fact that that game's going to be on. It's not like we usually see things like play on PlayStation, get this map early first on PlayStation, or get this thing first on. We haven't seen any of that. Or get early access first on PlayStation, or.
True that. We have not seen that. Although the game hasn't officially been revealed, it has officially only been teased.
Yeah.
The official reveal is like
Gamescom.
What? No, it was like 5 days before Gamescom, before opening night live. It was 16th or 17th or something like that. That's when they officially will reveal the game.
Right.
I would assume that at opening night live stage, you will see like the first time continued gameplay. That will be like the first story launch trailer or whatever. Yeah, but gameplay, I would assume, will be at the opening night live stage.
Yeah.
And we will see then if Sony is still trying to connect Call of Duty to PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the very end of the day, they benefit from selling Call of Duty on PlayStation.
Yep.
And if you use this in next year to still attach the Call of Duty name to your brand, this could also have a benefit for them. You know, even if then in 25 Xbox is going to take over, people will still connect Call of Duty to PlayStation, especially the casuals, you know, the ones that do not follow all the gaming news like we do. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it is weird.
Yep.
It's also very weird that I've seen this comparison, and I don't quote me on the numbers, but it was like someone posted on Twitter the pictures, like the official Xbox account retweeted the Call of Duty announcement with officially official or something like that.
Yeah.
And PlayStation did something similar, very similar. They quote tweeted the Call of Duty announcement, and PlayStation, the official PlayStation account, has like 10 million more followers, but Xbox got the double amount of likes. So it already trickles down in the Sony community. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Absolutely.
definitely, most definitely.
But yeah. But that pretty much wraps up today's show. Boxy. A nice short and I'd say short and sweet.
Sweet.
We've managed to get it on just over 2 hours there. But
You know that used to be the stand-up time for podcasts.
I know
with
it
us.
did, but now it's
With a full crew.
That's a short one. That's a short one now.
That's a short one today.
But yeah, I'm happy to say as well, everybody is now sorted for Gamescom. We've got no more underlying and outlying people left to go to get accredited or get trade passes or anything like that. So that is done. So we've got opening night live we're going to. We've got the trade/press on the 23rd that we're going to, and then we've got potentially Xbox Fan Fest. We'll have to wait and see for that. And last but not least, we have, of course, the public day on the 24th. So again, for everybody watching, or any of you who listen in after the fact on audio platforms or here, if you're going to Gamescom, of course, we'll be posting when we're there and where you can find us. So come and say hi or inbox us or tag us, whatever it is when you're at Gamescom. Let us know where you are. Let us know what days you'll be about, and we'll try and kind of meet you on those days as well. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm glad everything's eventually done and we can just relax and get ready to enjoy it now.
Absolutely, man. I'm super excited for Gamescom. You for the first time in person, and of course all the others, Gas, John, Mick, Erwin. It's gonna be fantastic. But like you said, we also want to meet our community.
Yeah.
So for anyone who is there, let us know. We are super excited to meet all of you.
Yep. Absolutely. Anyone who's attending will do that. And it should be fun. Should be a good time. So yeah, hit us up.
Absolutely.
Come say hello. And we're gonna have some fun. Boxy, your Starfield midweek mix-up T-shirt is sitting nicely downstairs.
Ooh,
ready to hand
nice.
So you'll be ready.
A little shirt for you as well, a World of Gaming T-shirt. So
nice.
You're gonna change. Yeah.
I'll wear that. Wear that on the midweek on the World of Gaming when I come home.
Got it right here. Got it right here. Okay. It looks like this.
Oh, very
from
nice.
the front, yeah, and then on the back, like this. So.
Oh, nice. I'll just quickly pause camera and I'll go and grab your Starfield one. 2 moments.
No problem. So people can see now me folding the T-shirt again. So super exciting.
I'm back. Don't you worry. I'm right here. There we go.
Right. Thank you.
So of course we've got the Starfield logo on the front there.
Sweet.
Big Starfield logo, and then the huge Starfield midweek mix-up logo on the back.
Looks fantastic. I can't wait, man.
Yes.
Awesome stuff.
And again, for those who want this is available on our store now. The link is on our actual YouTube channel. So if you want the Starfield midweek mix-up shirt, it is available now. So go and get it.
Absolutely.
And you can get excited for Starfield, because I know a few people have seen that shirt and they're like, that's a cool shirt. I like that shirt. So you can buy it if you want it. It's there. But yes, Boxy, we are ready to rock and roll for Gamescom now. Super excited. It's only one week and a couple of days more of work, and that's it. And we're off.
And it is, really can't wait. It's like today in 2 weeks, we already have the Fan Fest and everything else. It's gonna be awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be super awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to opening night live and seeing some reveals and things like that with everybody and reacting live to that. That's going to be cool. I've already mentioned before, but I'm going to try and kind of vlog some of it, record a vlog of the days and things like that, and put that on the channel, because of course we won't officially have a podcast that week. If we manage to squeeze some form of short podcast in with everybody there, then we'll try and do that. But otherwise, we'll have some form of vlog that might replace that for that week. But there'll be plenty of content. We'll be doing a lot of recording, getting a lot of cool stuff recorded for the community as well. So for those who can't attend Gamescom, we'll cover it to the best of our ability on both the trade days and the opening night live and even the public days. So it's going to be a blast. Only 1 week remaining, and then we're off. Woo!
So good.
Dear me.
Oh yeah.
Been a long time coming.
I also actually I really need the little break from work.
Yeah, same.
And everything. So
Same. But ladies, gents, everybody in the chat, thank you very much for watching again today with the World of Mix-Up podcast. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. Of course, if you did enjoy the episode, like, share, and subscribe. Again, I don't ask enough for that, but I really should. But yeah, if you do enjoy it, please like, share, and subscribe. It means the world, and it of course really helps out the channel as well going forward. Additionally, for those on audio platforms, we don't have many, but for those that do listen on audio platforms, please make sure you leave us a rating on there. That also helps a lot, and I hope you enjoy it as well. But Boxy, let people know where they can find you, brother, and what we've got coming up tomorrow on the midweek gaming podcast.
Yeah, people know where to find me, Boxenberger, everywhere. So that is very easy and to find. But yeah, we got a cool show coming up tomorrow. Actually, a lot of topics we haven't talked about today. So we're gonna cover, of course, the big Avowed news. We will talk about new Xbox hardware, the new James Bond game coming, and so much more. We actually have a lot of game talk tomorrow.
Nice, that's good.
Actual games, which is always the best kind of
podcast
topics.
Yep,
absolutely. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. We start 1 hour later tomorrow than usual. So at 9 p.m. Central Europe, 8 p.m. UK time, and 3 p.m. Eastern. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man.
Awesome stuff. So am I. So of course you can find me everywhere at WandrinDutch. Of course, as you might be have already sussed, next week will be the last official podcast before we go to Gamescom. So next week podcast, then we'll probably have a little bit of a break because you'll have different kind of content the week after. Beyond Primetime Gaming tonight, I have missed the last couple of episodes due to exhaustion, but I'm pretty awake today, so I'll be on there tonight. Tomorrow, of course, World of Gaming with Boxy, a little bit later than scheduled. Other than that, you probably find me. I'm going to start doing some streams across on both Twitch and YouTube again for gameplay. That'll be starting after Gamescom, of course, not beforehand. But I will be doing a little bit more gameplay streaming anyway, just before I go, just to beef out some content on the channel for you as well, so and have some fun with this with the community.
Tweet.
But other than that, of course, WandrinDutch X on Twitter /X now. So
with a blue check mark, dude.
Yeah, with a blue check, because I couldn't actually speak to anybody without it. Thanks, Twitter. But yeah, thank you again, guys. Hope you have an awesome evening. Enjoy your gaming, and we will see you all again next week. Goodbye.
See ya.